Welcome to another episode of Inside York Tech, a podcast featuring students, staff, and alumni of the York County School of Technology.
Welcome back to another episode of Inside York Tech. I'm your host, Nick Staub. Today we're joined by Abry Trejo. She's a class of 2018 graduate here at York County School of Technology, and she attended our licensed cosmetology program. We're really ecstatic to have her with us here today because she's been accomplishing some pretty neat things since she graduated, and we want to learn more about that. Aubrey, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I want to kind of dive right into it because, graduating in 2018, only 6 years later, you've already gotten some national recognition for your work in the cosmetology industry. You actually own your own nail salon. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to get the name right here. So it's Bad Witches with a W, Bad Witches Nail
Yeah.
Bar.
Yes.
Okay. Where's that located?
We are in Red Lion right on North Main Street.
Was that a goal to open up your own nail salon?
It was actually a 10-year goal for me after I graduated. It just ended up happening a lot sooner than
Oh yeah, we're
that.
way ahead of schedule here.
Yes.
So when did it open?
We opened a year ago in April. It's a learning curve, but it's been amazing to learn all of those new things. Yeah.
From what I understand, your co-owner, Nikki McKee, she also went to school here,
She did, yes.
and that was in our adult and continuing education center.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, we have the high school side, which offers a licensed cosmetology program. That's a 4-year high school program. And then we do have our adult and continuing education program, which offers the cosmetology program in a little bit more of a condensed version for adult learners. Aubrey, I'm curious, you said you run a 10-year schedule, so to
Mhm.
speak. So walk me through what happened after graduation that led to where you're at now.
So I had started at a nail salon, which I worked at for about 6 months. I wanted to do more than just like Joe manicures and pedicures, and they were not willing to teach me acrylic at that salon. So I had found another one, and she had taught me. And then once I had gotten better, I went to another salon where I was able to build like more of my clientele. And then I had ended up meeting Nikki, and she started doing my nails because as a nail tech, I don't like to do my own. And we had started talking then, and she had asked me if I was looking for a place to work. So I started working with her, and we had started talking about the idea of like, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if we were to open up our own salon? And now we're here.
I have to imagine that what you learned here at York Tech certainly helped accelerate that timeline for you a little
Absolutely.
bit.
Yeah.
I'd like to go backward to even before you started at York Tech. Has cosmetology, nails, has that always been an interest of yours?
Yes. So I started doing nails with my mom when I was like in middle school. Just painting them, doing manicures, and then I started doing acrylic at home. But that like I've always been artsy, I've always been into that. So like doing art on nails was definitely a great medium for me.
When you were deciding on whether or not to go to York Tech, what was that tipping point for you? What was that big thing, that aha moment that told you I got to go to York Tech?
I didn't even know that cosmetology was a thing before I found York Tech. So to know that something that I enjoyed was something that I could make a career out of, it was like no question, like I had to go.
If I remember correctly, you had Miss Rodenhaber, one of our licensed cosmetology instructors, does an awesome job. And you also had Mrs. Chapman, who just
Yeah,
recently retired.
yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what their instruction was like and how they were able to mold you into the person you are now?
So I started with Mrs. Chapman for freshman year and sophomore year. She was amazing. So she started off pretty simple and easy just to get the basics down. And then when you go into sophomore, you get more into depth, and it's more into depth within like each year. I wasn't really into like the hair, it was always nails for me or like skincare. Miss R is one of those teachers also that is there not just for what you're doing, especially with like personal life if you have any, things going on at home, but she pushes you to do better and better.
Well, you say you're not into hair, but you're sitting here across from me, and you've got like these awesome green highlights, which pretty much
Yes.
match the school colors. Was that by design, knowing you were coming in here today?
No, actually, I change my hair a lot. I like vibrant hair color. It makes me feel more like me.
And you've got the nails to match, so you're
Yep.
definitely walking the walk in
Yeah.
addition to talking the talk. Aubrey, one thing we talked about sort of as a side conversation before the interview were some of the projects that you completed here at York Tech that kind of helped prepare you for what you're doing now, owning your own business. Can you tell me a little bit more about those?
So in junior year, we made a 3D model of what our dream salon would be. So we had to go through and literally look up every single last detail. So that includes like, oh, like what color you would want, all of the supplies and equipment that you would need. And we had to like get the grand total of what it would be to make your own salon. And then you would have to like come up with like a creative name, which at the time I had did a full service salon, which is what I have now. So we do hair, nails, and aesthetics.
So, do you remember the name that you had proposed for your company back then while you were here at York Tech?
Oh my goodness.
Was it Bad Witch's Nail Bar?
Definitely not.
No.
I think it was like Sun and Moon or like something to do with my grandmother, maybe Melody's Salon or something.
One thing I want to impress on our viewers in doing research prior to this interview was just how intricate some of these nail designs are. This is like when I think of nails, I think of someone having their hand on the table and someone across the table painting them and maybe put some polish on. But
Yeah.
this is not that.
Yeah.
This is almost like mini canvases,
Yes.
mini paintings. Can you tell us what goes into that? Like how do you take a client's vision and put it on a nail?
Ooh. So I usually ask them if they have like any inspo pics, just something that I can go off of. And sometimes I'll add some things to change it up a bit, but I know, like, a lot of my clients that are coming to me does not do basic colors. We're always doing intricate nail art, crystals, hand painting, all of that.
And these are really almost 3D renderings because I've noticed that you include texture in some of
Yes.
these. How does that come about? Like what type of materials are you using to create that texture?
So you can use a gem gel, to put on, or you can even use acrylic. So you basically just paint on, like, a gem gel with a paintbrush, to make it 3D like.
You've recently had some national recognition for your work. So there's actually a national competition. This is an annual competition, the One Shot Hair Awards, which I think hair is a little misleading because they have a nail
Yes,
category,
yes,
don't
yeah.
they? And so you entered the One Shot Hair Awards in 2023 nail category. Can you walk me through that process? Like how do you enter, and then what happens after you submit something for consideration?
So to how to enter is you sign up, you put in all your information, and it goes off of Instagram. So throughout the year, you can pick the nail photos that you think are personally your best, and then you have to use a very specific hashtag posted on Instagram and then tag them. So then it's added into a category for that hashtag with a bunch of other nail artists that are entering for that. And then at the end of the year, when the entries are done, they look at all of them and they pick the top 100. And then it goes into top 50. And then when you go to the show, they announce the number one place winner.
And I misspoke earlier. I said national competition, but this is really international.
It
I mean, I saw
is. Yeah.
submissions on their page and or on their website and their Instagram page from all over the world. What was it like when you were informed that you were in the top 100?
I was ecstatic. I was very shocked. Well, as a nail artist or any artist in that form, you're very critical of yourself. So I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get in. And then once they had announced the winners and I saw my name, I was speechless. It was an insane, insane experience.
On the website for Bad Witch's Nail Bar, it looked like both you and your co-owner Nikki had both been selected in the top 100. Is that correct?
Yes. And she actually ended up progressing to the top 25.
So just to think that a nail bar locally here in Redline, Pennsylvania, had two of the top 100 nail technicians in the world
Yeah.
as part of this competition is absolutely outstanding. So after you were selected for the top 100, there's a I mean, the only word I can think of is gigantic. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a huge conference that occurs then to celebrate all the winners. And I believe in 2023 that was in Texas. You had a chance to go to that. What was that like?
So there was a lot of people that I actually looked up to while I was in like cosmetology school. Like Sam Vila was a really big one for me. And it was almost like I was starstruck when I had seen him there, which is crazy to think about. So they do like an event party where you can meet like all your other, people that are there for the nominees. And then they have the award show, which is insane. The energy that is in there and all the lights and the stage is big. So they go through each category, which is really long, by the way.
How many
So,
categories are there?
oh my gosh, I think over 100.
Oh wow. All cosmetology related, right?
Yes, so they even have, like, makeup, special effects makeup, they even have, like, avant-garde, which is the big, big names in our industry. This is the biggest, award show that we have for cosmetology. So, yeah, they go through each category, they do, like, a top 5, and then they announce, like, the initial winner. They'll bring you up on stage, and then you get your award, and you can make a little speech.
When I saw the examples, because there were some little video clips that I saw online too, of not just that conference but prior ones, it really almost looks like a concert in some ways. The lighting, the sound effects, the number of people who are attending. This is really a huge deal. Have you noticed any growth in your clientele since being named in the top 100?
Absolutely. Them seeing the nail art that we produce and then seeing that we've also won an award for it strikes interest for sure.
We're getting closer to homecoming here, 2024. Do you do a lot of big events like that, homecoming and prom?
Absolutely. Also like wedding season, that's a really, really big one. Halloween and holidays is also huge.
What is one of those either strangest requests that you've ever gotten from a client or maybe one of the most outlandish visions that you had to make come to life?
So, piercing nails is a thing.
Piercing, how does that work?
So you have a drill bit that you're able to drill into through the nail, and then you just use the little metal hook and you can put a piercing on there. So one of my clients is going to a concert and she wanted me to do like every single nail different. So I've actually taken time out of my schedule to draw up the idea for her nails. And then I even went in so far as to taking pictures of each idea that I have, like as a reference photo, and attaching it in a photo on top of my nails. So she has a visual representation of what they're going to look like. So sometimes I have to take the time and actually, plan out what I'm going to do before I do it.
It definitely sounds like that's going above and beyond for the client, but I guess you almost have to do that when you're doing
Absolutely.
these unique creations for every single person. One thing I noticed on your website is that it really looks like the services you offer or the range of cost varies to almost fit any budget. Can you talk a little bit about how you can go from more budget friendly to some of the more expensive, intricate jobs?
So we offer full sets for $60. So that includes, the full set, and then we can just do like a basic one color job for you. And then for like French tip, which is, on the more simpler scale, is $10 extra. So I mean, I typically try to work with my clients, especially if they're long time clients, and be like, hey, like maybe we'll take this idea and, we can remove this or add this to be able to fit your budget.
Like I said earlier, I think it's absolutely awesome that we have one of the internationally renowned nail bars locally here in Redline, and it just happens to be co-owned by two York County School of Technology graduates. And again, that's Bad Witches Nail Bar. Aubrey, can you tell us where people can get more information about you and your company?
We are on Instagram at Bad Witches Nail Bar, and then we're also on Facebook and we have a website.
Any words of advice that you have to kind of end the conversation here for those who are looking to get into cosmetology or maybe considering our program here at York Tech?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things for me is take it very seriously. The education that is offered through here can absolutely help you excel if you take it seriously.
Well, Aubrey, thanks so much for joining us. I just want to thank you for this conversation. It's been incredible to hear about your journey since you graduated from York Tech, and certainly been awesome to follow along with your success internationally. And I can't wait to see more from your Instagram page and on your website.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Inside York Tech. Catch all future episodes by visiting ycst.info/podcast.